right. Well, nice to meet you guys.
Nice
Where
to
are you
meet
based?
you. We are in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Wow, nice.
Dreamy.
No, everyone in Green Bay loves the Plaza.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
very true.
Hi, Amanda and Chad along with you, and we are so excited to be joined by Jonathan Jossel, CEO at Plaza Hotel and Casino Las Vegas, and Lisa Melmed, Marketing Manager at Plaza Hotel and Casino Las Vegas. We are so excited to be able to talk to you guys. Thank you for so much for doing this, and we have tons to ask you about, but the reason we actually wanted to do the interview in the first place is because you both are hosts of your own podcast called On the Corner of Main Street.
Thank you for having us. It's great to be with you.
Absolutely. So the podcast is, we just thought it was such a cool idea, talking about, your day-to-day and talking with the most important people making the decisions at Plaza, running the place. Tell us why you wanted to start a podcast and how you got the idea.
Well, I think it was Lisa's idea, but I don't think that either of us planned to be committed to a podcast. I think what happened was it was pretty natural in that we were just talking about different ways to keep reaching out to social media people, YouTubers. Lisa does a great job with all the YouTubers on the slot side of things. And so we just kept talking about more ways to grow that. And a podcast came up. We experimented with different things and it was kind of not very successful in terms of the execution of it. And then the pandemic happened and we were all sent home, although we weren't really sent home because the Plaza, we still came to the Plaza, but the Plaza was closed and we didn't have much to do. So we were like, well, this might be a good chance to be spending more time on a podcast. So we actually found someone to help us with it in terms of like recording it and making sure it was actually done professionally, which was where we were struggling. And we enjoyed it. We started having fun with it. And the pandemic gave us a great time to, one, focus on that, but two, really gave people a chance to sort of find us and stay in touch with Vegas from afar because nobody could come here, nobody could go to the hotels, and nobody knew what was going on, us included. But it was, I think, interesting to people to hear about it while we were doing it or living through it in the moment. So we did like 4 episodes just about the shutdown, just about the process and being at home, which is kind of where this was started, and it just got a life of its own.
Yeah. So when you started, did you imagine that you'd be going 58 episodes strong?
I don't know what we really expected to come out of it. I think it was a way to stay connected with our guests, to talk to different people around town and see where it could go. And then, like Jonathan said, during the pandemic, it just kind of took off more and more because there wasn't really much news to update, but we did have sort of the inside scoop of what was going on with the pandemic.
And I also think that we could have easily stopped it after the pandemic and we were busy and getting back to our normal lives, but the satisfaction we get from meeting people associated with it, that listen to it, that come downtown or to the Plaza just because they heard it, which amazes me every time it happens, but it happens almost daily now where somebody's like, oh, I listened to your podcast, and I'm at the coffee shop and they'll come up to me and say they listened to it, or they came to Oscars just because they want to see where it is that it's filmed. Like, that's pretty cool. And that's kind of what keeps us going, I suppose, and makes it worthwhile. But we also enjoy, because it's not a Plaza podcast and that it's not just promoting the Plaza, it gives us a great opportunity to meet other people, talk to other people. We meet with our competitors. It creates a nice dynamic, in terms of downtown and meeting with other people and other businesses and helping promote them. So it's got a lot more to it than I guess ever imagined when we set out on it.
Yeah. Well, and I think like what I love about it is that it's so conversational and you can tell you guys are just being really real, and it's easy and it flows. I think it's a really cool idea.
We're going to come out to Green Bay and do an episode there, so we'll find
That
you
would
there.
be awesome. We could do it at Lambeau Field in the snow.
Now you're talking.
Now we're getting somewhere, right?
So speaking of like some of your favorite people or the people that you've gotten to connect with, who have been some of your favorite guests, your highlighted guests?
I really
Lisa's really the like secret weapon of the podcast. So that's why I look to her for everything. She's the one who thought it up. She's the one that keeps it going. She's the one that keeps us on track. I often get people email me like, "Damn, you're all over the place, but you're lucky you have Lisa to keep you on track." So this thing is sort of credible.
Thank you. We've had a lot of great guests. I like Vital Vegas, Scott, because he's so funny. He cracks me up every time, but he has sort of this high level way of thinking about Vegas and how everything connects and like the ecosystem of Las Vegas. So it's always interesting to talk to him. I also,
by the way, they may hate him. He's very liked or disliked.
Yeah.
Polarizing.
Yeah. I was trying to think of the same word.
Go on.
And then Steve Sear, who was the host of all the biggest players at Caesars and all over town. Hearing his inside stories of how he did it, all the stories he's heard through working in the business is just really fascinating as well. But we've had so many great guests.
For me, I'd say there's a lot of them, but the one that really stood out to me now that you asked me that, because I don't often think of it like that. We should go through and look at the list of everyone. But the one that really gets me is Larry Rubo. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No.
But his stories, and he came to Vegas really early on, and there was not much happening in this town. And the business he's built and the things he's done was, to hear those stories firsthand is pretty amazing. And to have it, it's easy to hear those stories. Like you can go for lunch or dinner with these people and talk to them, but to have them sort of memorialized in a way that they'll always be there is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of which, people can listen to the podcast on your website. And do you also post the podcast throughout social media as well, or does it just live on the website?
On social media, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, basically wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find on the corner of Main Street.
Awesome.
Wow. So give me a little background on you guys. Jonathan, you're the CEO. You're from the UK. Tell me how you landed where you are today.
Now I can definitely hear your Green Bay accent. I couldn't hear it before.
Mine's pretty bad.
How you sound like all about
Canada a lot.
I was born in South Africa. I grew up in London. And if you're really interested in this, you should listen to episode 1 of the podcast, because you can get the whole story of how I came to be in Las Vegas.
You did, yeah.
You did,
The real Cliff Notes version is I did a thesis on the gambling industry in the UK. I was always interested in the casino business and gambling just generally as more of a hobby. And I met a gentleman who told me that he had just invested in downtown Las Vegas in 2005, which, if you know anything about downtown, there was not much happening down here in 2005. So he had a great foresight in to do what he did. And he offered me work experience. I worked here when I was sort of 19 years old in Vegas, and I did not enjoy it in downtown. And I left, and 2 years later, or 3 years later, I came back, and downtown was changing. And that's really how I landed here, believed in what was happening down here. It was more on the real estate side, but I saw the opportunity to grow within the casino business because of the recession. I spent a lot of time in the casinos, and that's what we owned at the time, 5 casinos. It was all Jackie Gorn's portfolio.
Okay.
So I was here learning the business, and fast forward a few years, I believed that I could do a good job with the Plaza and the other properties we had. So I went forward for my licensing when I was 27 years old. It took 2 years to get the gaming license, but when I was 29, I got my gaming license and took over the full operation of the Plaza.
And was the youngest person ever to get a gaming license.
Unrestricted licensing.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
That's great. Congratulations. Yeah, that's huge.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that you were on that 40 under 40 list a couple of years back. So
yes,
I won't name here. So
yeah, I'm still under 40.
Thank you so much for sharing your background with us. It is really cool because you were so young when you started, and And looking at where you are now, Lisa, you're the marketing manager at Plaza. That can't be an easy job. I would imagine that it probably entails a lot of creativity and ideas, maybe putting out some fires. Tell me about how you got into your position and what you do at Plaza.
I came out to Vegas in 2014 to work on a music festival that was going to happen at the Plaza, do some freelancing on it. And then it turned out that a social media job opened up here, and I applied and then got it. And now I've been with the Plaza ever since, now marketing manager. But it was good because social media touches sort of every department, and we would have people send in questions, like ask questions. And that was a really good way for me to learn the business, because I didn't know half of the answers, but then I was able to talk to almost every single department and ask them what's going on, what games do we have, what are our table limits, like how often does housekeeping come, lost and found, everything. So that was a great way to learn the business. There is a lot of creativity behind it. There's a lot of proofreading in marketing, making sure all of our mailers go out.
People don't realize that. I think people just see like the fun side of it. They don't realize proofreading every single thing that goes out.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
And then it's been cool to see the shift over the last few years from a lot of print ads and billboards to now we're focusing more on digital marketing and social media advertising, YouTubers, influencers, podcasting.
And we're a pretty young team, and that's one good side of it. And then the other side of it is because we're not a big corporation and really everything we decide goes through me. Lisa and her team can come up with the craziest, weirdest, worst or best idea ever, and we're able to try them pretty quickly and decide what we want to do, which is like it's one of the main benefits I think that people want to be in these independent hotels, because it's not corporate and it's not difficult to get things approved.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's really reflected too in Plaza with your marketing and your print ads. The fact that you pay attention to the influencers and that you have a podcast, that you can tell that you are a really young team and you've got your fingers on the pulse of people who want to come downtown Vegas. So speaking of downtown Vegas, it's definitely changed, and as you alluded to. In 2005, there wasn't much going on. It's more of a destination for travelers these days. How do you think it's changed, and how do you think it is a destination?
Where are you guys recording this from? It's the whitest room I've ever seen.
So this is my office.
There's zero. I've never seen a wall like that. There's literally nothing there.
It's nothing. I know it's nothing.
You're in a white cube.
That's my chair, and behind it is another microphone, but
I took everything down just because we knew we were going to be on this.
I specifically have it super
white room I've ever seen. Brilliant. Nothing there. So to answer your question, what's changed is when I came to downtown in 2005, and when I moved out here full time in 2007, it was always busy. The Fremont Street experience always attracted people to come down here. There was always foot traffic. People would say, oh, there's 14 million tourists downtown, or 16 million tourists coming to downtown each year. There was always a lot of people coming down here, but all they were really coming here for was to see the history, the old neon, the old signs, the Fremont Street canopy. They were coming for an hour, 2 hours, grabbing a drink, maybe playing a little bit of cheap blackjack or whatever. And then they were getting back in the car and going back to the strip. That was really all there was to it. So when you thought about that, it's actually not that valuable that you have all this foot traffic because it's not doing anything. What's happened in the last decade is thanks to, and maybe a little more than a decade, but thanks to Oscar Goodman, who started it, and all the other downtown players that have come along since, not just in the casino world, but in the non-gaming world as well, the investment has led to people seeing there's a lot more to do downtown and spend time downtown. So now instead of just coming down here to see the old Vegas, they're coming down here and realizing there's great restaurants, there's great shows, there's great hotel rooms, there's great pools, there's great entertainment, and actually it's every bit as good as the strip with better value. And so that's really where it's changed. And you've got people now coming down here for much longer periods of time, spending much more money, not to knock the strip. They still go to the strip, of course, but you might in fact get someone staying downtown for 4 days who just goes to visit the strip for a night versus staying on the strip and then visiting downtown for a night. And that's where we've really seen the big shift. And I happen to think that will continue to happen, but we shall see.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely in that stat.
Yeah. I mean, I would say we go to Vegas like 6 times a year, and we used to, years ago only stay on the new strip. And then then we did, just like you said, we'd come down, for a day or half a day, until it morphed to now we stay downtown, and we don't even go to the new strip at all. We don't even go for the one day. We're solely, it's just so much more fun and has so much more to do and more character. And
yep, for sure.
Exactly right. But the problem was that was the case before. It just couldn't be done in a comfortable way. There weren't nice hotel rooms. Couldn't be done in a safe way. There wasn't as much parking and safety. There wasn't as much entertainment off the strip, so you couldn't walk to East Fremont, to the Arts District. So now you combine all of it together, and you're creating a pretty cool community.
Sure. Yeah,
sure. Absolutely. Well, and Plaza just celebrated its 50th anniversary downtown. Talk about what it means to have such an iconic hotel and casino there for that long.
It's pretty cool. A lot of Vegas properties, they'll knock something down to rebuild something new. So it's cool that this building has been here since 1971. It was built where the Union Pacific Railroad train station was, which is why it was called the Union Plaza, now just Plaza. And there's just so much history in this building. It was the largest hotel and casino when it opened in 1971. And when we were planning the 50th anniversary, we really wanted to make sure that we were paying homage to all the people that came before, all the history. But it was kind of difficult to do that during a pandemic when borders were closed, social distancing, and all of that happening.
We think we're going to be celebrating the Plaza's 50th for the next 3 years.
Right.
In efforts to catch up on what we missed last year this year, but 6 months ago. We just couldn't do all the things we wanted to do. Our ownership group is in the UK. A lot of our customers are in Europe and in Canada, and they couldn't get here. And it just wasn't fair to do a big 50th anniversary without the people that make the Plaza. So we're going to be celebrating it for the next few years. And if anybody tells me it's not really the 50th, I might have to hit them. We're going to be celebrating the 50th for a long time.
Good.
And the Plaza deserves it. Like Lisa said, the easy thing to do would have been to implode it and restart. And we didn't want to do that. We wanted to build on what we have, and the location, the brand, it's just iconic. So we want to continue to build on that.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's some really cool things happening lately. You have your new Studio 71. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that is?
It's your specialty. Lisa's brainchild.
And we have a lot of pictures at it.
Yeah, we have some photos of ourselves there.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Oh, for sure.
Awesome.
Yep.
So part of the 50th anniversary, we wanted to create a space for people to come take photos and share their experience. So we built like a disco-inspired Studio 54 inspired room with neon showgirls. It's the same exact showgirl from our carpet that was designed just for us by a designer, Stuart Werner. And there's disco balls, there's lights. It's awesome. People are just come in just to take photos, and we're also giving away a cash prize to someone who posts a photo and tags us.
Oh yeah.
It used to be the party pit room, but the party pit was a little too congested for post-COVID era. People, the dealers and everybody wasn't 100% comfortable with the idea of that intimate of a space. So we used it the way we could, and we'll see long term how it works out. So far, it's been very popular. So we'll see what we do.
That's a really cool idea. It really is. And
it catches your eye when you walk in. Like, what is that? Let's go in there. I think you can go in there.
So sparkly. I love it.
Yeah. So, and then you guys also have the new Sand Dollar Lounge moving in. Has it opened?
No, it's going to open early next year. Part of the issue has been just finalizing the design of it, and everybody knows some of the challenges out there in construction at the moment with some delays.
Sure.
So we haven't been able to move at the speed we wanted to, but that's okay. There's so much going on. There's so much changing. We wanted it to be ready for New Year's Eve. Doesn't look like we'll get there. So early next year is what we're saying right now, but it's going to be great because the Plaza, like you mentioned, has so much happening, but after 10:30, we sort of struggle to keep people engaged for long periods. Once the showroom's closed, the sportsbook's closed, bingo's closed, Oscars is closed, we don't have enough going on. So we really felt like having a new bar there would give us an entertainment venue. And then we're going to do another bar which is to be announced
Cool.
in the near future as well. So we'll next year we'll have 2 new bars as part of our 50th celebration, 50th year celebration.
Very
Awesome.
cool. Yeah.
So we wanted to ask you, we think that you guys have pretty cool jobs, and I think probably most people would agree. What is the best part or the coolest part of your jobs?
Well, my answer is probably annoying to some people, but I don't see it as a job. I've never worked a day in Vegas. I love being here and I love the people. I love the business. So for me, it's not a job. I wake up every morning. I go do what I want to do. I come here Saturdays and Sundays. I come here at night just because I enjoy it and I enjoy the place. I enjoy the people. So the best part of it is that it doesn't feel like a job. I know some people tell me like Sunday nights, they get that feeling of, oh, it's the new week.
Sunday scaries.
Is it called Sunday scaries? Okay. Yeah. And to me, it's just Sunday. And I feel very lucky that I can say that, but that's honestly the best part about it.
That's really cool.
Now I want to see what Lisa says.
Right, how do you tell that, right?
You took her answer.
The same thing.
Oh yeah.
No, I love that we get to create these experiences for people to come on vacation. Like every Thursday when you see people checking in, or Friday, it just gets so exciting seeing people are coming here to have the most wild weekend. What Jonathan was saying earlier about how we just have to go to him to get permission to do something, he really empowers us to create guest experiences that wow the guests. So we recently started trying to put more and more guest names on our LED screen. So when people come and it says welcome so-and-so, seeing their face and their reaction to that is really cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a fun place. There's so much freedom to do stuff, and you can try different things that in other cities people would think you're insane. Here
it's just
do whatever you want,
That's what I love about Vegas.
Yeah.
That's
where we go so much.
The wild, wild west.
Well, you guys convinced us. We're going to send our resumes in as soon as we're done with this.
We're hiring.
We are hiring, yes. Housekeeping specifically.
What are some of the things people might not know about the Plaza? Is there anything like special that might not be heard of?
There's a lot. Yeah, I mean, obviously the one that I think Lisa touched on a little bit before, but the train station is still here. There's a mural that was done in honor of the train station that we preserved the mural that shows trains in the 80s and 90s moving forward into today's version of what trains would look like. They had like an idea of 30 years in the future, and it's pretty accurate. So we kept that mural, we kept the train station location. It's obviously not a train station anymore. So I'd say that's the most common thing. And then as he said, it used to be called the Union Plaza, and you can still see above the Plaza neon sign on the roof, there's a space for another word. That's where Union used to sit. And there's a word, Jackie Gorn, and then it became Jackie Gorn's Plaza. And today it's just the Plaza, but you can still see the placeholder for Union and Jackie Gorn above the Plaza's logo.
cool.
Up there. It was the biggest hotel casino when it was built in the world in 1971.
Wow.
And then obviously the second tower came in 1973. What am I missing? There's a lot. All the movies, all the music videos, all the filming that's been done here.
Yeah.
Some people don't know that James Bond was here. It was in Back to the Future. You can see all of that stuff online, though, of course.
Yeah.
There's a ghost in the showroom.
There's a ghost in the showroom.
I was going to ask if
Yeah.
it was haunted.
Oh.
No, I'm joking.
Stop that one.
We'll have to send you some more unknown facts of the
Yeah,
Plaza.
that'd be cool. So, what is the coolest thing that you've ever seen in either the casino, either gambling or the casino floor?
There's one that easily comes to mind, and I don't know if you prepared anything, but the one that comes to my mind is we had a guy out of England. His name was Ashley Revel, and this is real. You can see it online. He sold all of his possessions in England, everything he had, and he came out to Vegas in about 2005 or 6, and he put all of it on red. It was about $300,000 or $250,000, and he won. And we actually went back to him like 15 years later and said it's so famous, the story online and all these other things, that we flew him out here for a promotion for our new roulette wheel. We have the only single zero roulette in downtown, and we flew him out here and we did a promotion with him. But he only bought, was it 20,000? He only did 20,000 on red, and he bet the same red 7. Sorry, he bet the same number on red, and it was red 7 when it hit, and so he won the 20,000 again. He's a pretty lucky guy.
Yeah. Wow.
But yes, seeing him on those 2 spins was pretty cool. Also had a lady win from Hawaii 1.2 million on Wheel of Fortune that I saw.
Oh wow, you saw.
And she used the money to send her grandkids to college, which was pretty amazing.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow, those are great stories. Awesome. So, and we don't want to keep you guys too long, but we'd love to hear about what's coming up at Plaza in the next few weeks and months. We know there's something always going on downtown and in Vegas, of course.
We are switching now. It seems like it's rodeo season. So we have Las Vegas Days rodeo coming in November, and National Finals rodeo coming in December. And of course, New Year's Eve, we're doing something with Brian Christopher slots, and another convention's coming called Zorkfest. So, I mean, lots of exciting events to come.
Yeah, there's a lot of events. Plus, we have the 2 new bars that we're working on. So by next year, and of course, Greyhound's gone. So we're working on plans for that space. So by next year, you'll see a lot of new things to try out here.
Very cool.
Awesome.
I don't think we're going to wait that long. We'll probably see you in a month or so.
Yeah, but we're actually coming
well, let us know when you come out so we can get a cocktail with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be good. We're coming out that rodeo weekend. It's like the 10th. I think that's the finals, isn't it?
In December.
Is that December?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's the NFR. That's the big one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You guys want to go? You guys want to go to the rodeo with us?
Sure.
You ever been to a rodeo?
No.
Email Lisa if you want to join us. We'll have 2 tickets for you guys to come.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that would be amazing.
Great. We'd love
Thank
to.
you.
Yeah.
It's my
As long
birthday.
as you're into that stuff.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yep. We try to go out every year for our birthday. So
Well,
it always happens during the rodeo.
We
and
pick any reason to.
Yeah,
My
that's true.
birthday, his birthday.
His birthday.
Yeah, let us know, and hopefully you can stay with us, and we'll go to the rodeo one night.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks so much.
That'd be great.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for
Thanks
spending so
having
much
us.
time with us today.
Of course. Thank you very much.
It was great to meet both of you.
Great to
You
meet
too.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Take care.
Take care.
All right, bye.